Now, less than a month from the Iowa caucuses, and the Republican presidential candidates, they're stepping up on their attacks on each other. Latest polling in the Hawkeye state still shows the obvious. President Trump maintains that commanding lead in the GOP field. And while support for Ron DeSantis has ticked up in Iowa, the Florida governor is also reportedly facing some behind-the-scenes turmoil. Emily Fenn is live there, where Nikki Haley held a town hall on Sunday night. Emily, catch us up.
Hey, Adrienne, good morning to you. That's right. Our team was at the event last night. Nikki Haley definitely relying on her past experience as UN ambassador and former governor of South Carolina. And her message does appear to be resonating with voters here in Iowa. Haley isn't the only one prioritizing Iowa. DeSantis and Ramaswamy also have events this week in the Hawkeye state. They're ramping up their ground games in the final weeks leading up to the caucuses. And the remaining GOP candidates are really turning their attention to President Trump, who, as you mentioned, has an overwhelming lead in the polls right now. At last night's Nikki Haley town hall event in Altoona, the former UN ambassador asked audience members to raise their hand if it was their first time attending one of her events. About half of the room said that it was, in fact, their first time supporting her, indicating that Haley may be stealing some votes away from the former president. But with Trump more than 30 points ahead of the rest of the GOP pack in the latest Iowa polls, Haley and her supporters are lowering their expectations in the Hawkeye state, saying that they are simply hoping for a strong showing in the caucuses.
Well, the battle right now in Iowa is for second place. I think anybody who looks at numbers would agree with you. I'm not quite sure why Ron DeSantis keeps talking about the fact he can win. That would be pretty hard to do. Haley and DeSantis are in a close battle for second. Governor Haley started off at 3%. She's been going up ever since. If she were to come in second here against someone who's been on the ballot 2 times, Trump, and a very popular governor, DeSantis, who's going down, that's a big win for her.
In the latest YouGov poll, President Trump leads with 58% support. Trump has a 36-point lead over Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has been heavily prioritizing Iowa in recent weeks. Haley took aim at the Florida governor's campaign strategy during last night's town hall. Take a listen.
30 days until the caucus. And let me tell you, I am seeing the ads that you were seeing on TV. Ron DeSantis has not put one truthful ad up there about me. He has spent millions of dollars against me. And while he's lying about me, I'm going to tell you the truth about him because he doesn't want to hear it. He went into Congress saying he was going to cut spending, yet he raised the debt limit and hundreds of billions of dollars to do it. He tells you he's energy independent, but in Florida, he banned fracking, he banned offshore drilling, and when he was in Congress, he led the charge to ban the renewable fuel standard. And then you go and you look at the situation that he claims he's pro-Israel. You can't be pro-Israel and bring the most anti-Israel Republican into this state who voted against fighting anti-Semitism on college campuses and voted against calling out Hamas. He voted with the squad, and that's who he brought to your state. So while Ron is lying about me, I'm going to tell you the truth about him. This is something you haven't heard me in any town halls. The press can tell you. I have not talked negatively about anybody. But if you've got to lie to win, you don't deserve to win.
For DeSantis, his main focus right now is on beating the former president. But with another recent high-profile resignation from the Never Back Down super PAC that's supporting DeSantis, it isn't a good sign for his campaign.
Trump loses, he will say it's stolen no matter what. Absolutely. He will try to delegitimize the results. He did that against Ted Cruz in 2016, and he will do that. I mean, even when, like, The Apprentice didn't get an Emmy, he said. So I don't think there's been a single time he's ever been in competition for something where he didn't get it, where he's accepted. I don't think he will do that.
And Nikki Haley does have another town hall event coming up in just a few hours here in Iowa. Our NewsNation team will be there speaking with voters, so make sure you're staying tuned throughout the day.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.